What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing? How are you doing today? Oh, I'm excited about today's class. Yoga for hips, definitely need it. Oh my goodness, there's a piece of rice here. Let me tell you about the story about the rice. So there once was a girl who ordered a 10-pound bag of rice. And this little girl had a dog who liked to eat a whole lot. So when the rice was delivered, the girl wiped it down because there was a huge pandemic going on, and so you just have to be careful. So she set the rice in the corner, not really thinking anything of it, wiped it down. And one day, the very next day actually, her little dog decided, what's in that bag? I wonder. And her dog is really tiny. And so the dog thought, well, let me take a bite out of that bag and see if anything comes out, because it sure does look like a dog food bag. So the little dog took a bite of the bag and out flowed the raw grains of rice. And that little dog is very happy right now, sitting right next to me. And she dropped this thing of rice out of her mouth and it went on the floor. And I'm like, oh, so yes. So yeah, intention. A wonderful one I love to suggest is I accept my uniqueness. Whatever. So go ahead and allow all the thoughts, all the busyness of your day, everything, to just kind of drift away like this sage smoke. I don't know if you can see it, but it was kind of like thick and now it's kind of starting to dissipate. Setting the intention to be really present in your own body and setting your intention to kind of go deep in each of these poses that we're going to be practicing today. Not deep in the sense of physically deep, but really just being super aware of what you feel in the poses. All right, let's begin by coming to an easy seat and closing the eyes. Taking in a deep breath and exhaling with that ocean quality breath, the type breath. And notice how that changes the body, anything that's happening within. Take just a few more breaths here. I'm going to cue up some music. We're going to be super, since we're going to be like super aware of our like how we're feeling, we're going to do more of like this, just grounded type music rather than a Rajasic type music, which is great and fun, but we're going to save that for our Thursday practice, for us to have the groovy vibes. We're going to stick with something more like grounded today. Check your space, see if there's anything that you can just kind of clear, just make space for yourself during this practice. All right, and we're going to begin by starting to stretch into the neck and the traps. So take your left ear toward your left shoulder. And we're going to extend the right arm away from the body. Fingertips maybe can touch the floor. Inhaling, curling that arm up. Maybe touching the knuckles toward the shoulder. It doesn't have to touch, it's okay. Inhaling, stretching and extending. And then curling up. Even this, I don't know why, my arms are sore. Wow. And extending out, dipping the chin, taking the opposite ear to opposite shoulder, placing your right hand back on your knee, and then extending the left arms out, or the left arm out. And curling the fingers, curling up the arm, maybe touching knuckles to shoulder and extending out. Seeing if you can feel a stretch in the neck, all in the deltoids and the upper arms. Breathing in. And out. And then release. I'm going to take the head in kind of like gentle circles. Feel really super tight there. Oh, my neck. Sigh out the breath. Inhale, nice deep inhale. And sigh that out. You can stay where you're at. You don't have to turn to the side like me. We're going to place the hands back with the fingertips pointing toward the body or maybe out to the side. Elbows can be slightly bent if you like, and then dip the knees from one side to the other, starting to roll across the gluteus muscles. Move this so I can roll down all the way. We have a muscle that goes kind of across the glutes that can get tight too and also start to affect the sciatic nerve. And so this can also get into that as well. Oh yeah. Piriformis, piriformis, piriformis. So if you sit down a lot, you may be feeling this in your hips. Very nice. And if it feels nice to stay on one spot, feel free to kind of hang out for just a breath or two, and then switch to the other. Yoshi has blessed me with her presence, and there's cat hair all over. She's adorbs. Nice tall spine here. We're going to go ahead and roll down. So we're going to take it all the way down. You can grab a strap if you want to. You can grab a block to have it handy, just in case as you roll down. Hug knees into the chest, separate the knees back together, maybe make circles with the knees as if you're tracing the number 8 here. At the same time, and then circling the other way. Yeah. You can see the sage is still burning. As you bring your hips maybe hip width distance apart and hug in. Just notice how this feels. Do you feel a pinching on the inner thigh? Maybe that means that there's compression there and you want to separate the knees out just a little bit more until that pinching feeling goes away. So compression is whenever you've got either flesh on flesh, bone on bone, like something physical is preventing the stretch from going any further. So it's okay, it may just be the way your hips are shaped. So you don't have to keep your knees hugged in nice and tight. You can even grab behind the thighs here if that feels better for you. Knees don't have to be close together, they can be out. Very good. Maybe rock here from side to side. Excellent. We're going to take our feet up to the sky. You can keep a bend in the knees if you prefer. You can take the strap around the ball of your foot, balls of your feet if you want to here. Pressing through the heels, drawing those toes toward the face. So we start to stretch into our calves. So if you get your toes drawing toward the face, you'll get a stretch in the calves. Hamstrings perhaps, and the hips. Good. And again, you don't have to have the knees straight here. They can be bent, that's fine. We're gonna drop or let that left leg float down. The right leg can be up. Keeping both feet flexed here. I'm going to go ahead and draw that foot across the body. You can keep your right hip on the floor. Drop your shoulders back toward the mat. Just pay attention in your hips where you feel this. Do you feel it kind of like in the very middle of the glute? Very middle? Do you feel it on the edge? Do you feel it up by the hip bones, on the outside edge? Wherever you feel it, each one has a different story. We have so many muscles here going through our hip here. Taking the strap into the right hand and drawing that foot away from the body. Not far, just far enough to where you feel a stretch on your inner thigh, your adductor. Very good. Your left hand can go out like a T, and you'll keep both feet flexed here. Maybe you take that foot away from the body even more, or maybe not. Just do what's right for you. Some days we can go like super stretchy, and some days not, and it's okay. Let's draw that foot back toward the midline of the body. Take the strap back into the right, onto the left hand. Right arm goes out by your side like a T, and then draw that foot across the body once more. This time we're gonna let your right hip come off of the floor. Make sure I'm not anywhere near that candle. Good. Right hand goes out like a T, or if you want, just the cactus arm here. Not forcing anything. So this adds not only hip stretch, but also gentle spinal twist. And melt. See if you can find a sense of like softness. It's not so much that it's like, I'm gonna stretch and it's gonna be perfect. No, but more like you're allowing yourself. Okay, so also paying attention as you draw your foot. Do you feel that pinching feeling again, like on the, like at the very, like where the hip comes to meet the groin, like that area? It's like if that's happening, ease out, back out. We don't want any pinching feelings, zinging feelings. because that actually is a story of compression. And if we keep compressing and we keep compressing and we force it, it's going to lead to unhappy injury. And we don't want injury. We want happy and stretched out muscles. Your muscles look different than my muscles, and that's good. It's a good thing. We're all part of this unique dance of life. We're going to switch to the opposite leg and take the strap into the right hand, left arm goes out by your side like a T, and we're going to press through both heels. So flexing the feet, drawing the toes toward the face, breathe in nice and deep. And then exhale, draw the foot away, across the body. Yay. Very good. Trying to put my receiver back in my pocket. So here we're keeping the hip on the floor. So we're not taking that foot across, way across, so that the left hip comes off. We want to keep that left hip on the floor. Draw the foot across the body just gently until you feel a nice gentle stretch down into the hip itself. Good. Awesome job. And drawing that foot back to the midline center, taking the strap into the left hand. Your right arm goes out by your side, and then take the left foot away from the body. Feeling a stretch into your adductor, the inner thigh here. Pressing out with the heels. You can slide that hand down the strap, and then you keep maybe both upper arms so that you can stabilize so that your hips are even on the floor here. So we don't want the right hip to come off like this. We want it down. Yeah, so if that means bringing that foot back closer to the midline, that's good. And then from there, you can move the foot out, but keeping that pelvis stable here on the floor. Bring that foot back in, take the strap into the right hand, left arm goes out by your side like a T, and then we're gonna draw that foot even more. Allow your left hip to come off of the floor. Good. Then we're gonna take our gaze away from the foot that's in the strap. So you don't have to look all the way over, just listen to your neck. Breathe nice and deep. Pay attention to what you're feeling here. Those right toes can point out in the same direction as the foot in the strap, and the outside edge of that right foot can come to the floor. Are you gripping anywhere? Like, are your arms like, ee? See if you can find some softness, holding that strap just enough, but not like over squeezing. Sorry, y'all are doing good. And then bring that strap back to midline, foot back to midline, release the strap to the side. A lot of times we'll end our practice with that, but this time we just gently approached it. All right, we're going to begin to, if you want, so if you have any disc issues like herniated disc, anything like that, don't do this next thing. You can start to kind of like rock and roll on the spine. I see you, chat. Hang on just a second. Mr. Fricks. You might have missed it, Mr. Fricks. So we're just rocking and rolling on the spine. If this doesn't feel comfortable, like if the bony protrusions, the spinous process is kind of like saying, don't do that, then don't do that. Maybe you put a blanket down. Maybe that would feel more comfortable for you. All right. And when you're ready, we'll come up to seated. What did y'all think about that rock and rolling? We haven't done that. We haven't done that, like, I don't think ever, like, really. And I think it's actually kind of fun. I'm not going to direct us to, like, come all the way to standing. I've seen it where we're, like, rocking and rolling, and then we're, like, going to come all the way up to standing. We're not going to do that. No. Not yet. Not right now. We're working our way up to it. We can do it, I mean, but not really where I want to take the energy of this class. Okay. Let's come to hands and knees. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. We're going to inhale, sink the belly down toward the floor. Lift the crown of the head and tailbone up to the sky. And then start to stretch from side to side. Coming to midline, exhaling, rounding the spine to cat back. Breathe nice and deep here. Send the breath to behind the shoulder blades. We'll begin to tuck the toes. Send our left leg back. Point those right toes. And then we're gonna kind of slide the foot back. Just seeing what this feels like to you, starting to get into the hips and forward. So just forward and back motion. As we move back, we start to stretch into our right hip. As we come forward, we use our arm strength. Maybe you even do a little dip here and press up. And if it doesn't feel good to have your knee, like you don't have to go super deep. It just depends. Everybody's hips are different here, okay? Good job. And back to neutral. We're gonna tuck both feet, come into high plank, roll shoulders back and down. Here we are. Deep inhale and exhale. We're gonna drop the opposite knee down. So the left knee comes down. Point the right toes. Hope I said the right one last time. Sink the hip back. Whew. Very good. Move these forward just a bit. Deep breath here, coming forward, and then here maybe dipping down, gently touching the heart down. Chin might come down and then pressing back up. If that doesn't feel good, you're welcome to have both knees down. We're gonna sink both hips back. Both hips. Yeah, both hips. Yes, because we have two hips. Sink the hips back toward the heels as we meet in child's. Knees can be either hip widths apart or wider, up to you, however you think is best for your body, for your hips. Deep breath, breathe. Take your breath all the way into like where you start to feel it here in the back of your heart, behind the shoulder blades. Stretching out. The lats, feeling the lats expand. Let your hands slide to where they naturally would. Stretching your arms out, coming up. And then from there, we can lower down, having the elbows bend, keeping them kind of hugged in toward the chest, touching the chest and chin down, deep inhale, and then exhale, pressing up. Good. So on me, my Chaturanga hands are a little bit wider than usual, and then we'll sink back. Coming up, this time knees are welcome, or if you want, you can use, bring the knees away from the mat. Deep inhale here, and then lower down. Point the toes. Inhale, use your back muscles to peel your chest away from the mat, and exhale back down. Test the waters here. See if you're able to lift your hands just slightly off of the mat. Deep inhale, and exhale. See how far you feel comfortable peeling the chest away without the use of the hands, just testing the waters, not like overdoing it or pressing it up super duper, like rawr. And exhale down. Good. We're gonna bring the hands, placing one on top of the other right here, and placing your forehead down on your hands. Deep inhale here, and as you exhale, we're gonna press the pubic bone into the floor and lift the feet away from the mat. Good work. If you feel this in your low back, you can lower down. And if that still gets into your low back, then you can just lift one leg up. So that's your modification. Pressing up here. We're going to come to seated. All the way to seated. Good. Good job. Yoshi. You can have a blanket under your hips if you would like for this stretch. Oh yeah, doing this on the Tempur-Pedic mattress is not as effective. Yeah, that's any type of thing where you really have to use the floor to push yourself up. If the floor is like super cushy, it doesn't really provide a lot here. So if you are in something cushy here, you can always put a lot of pillows underneath the hips to provide a little bit more like support for under there. All right, deep inhale, we're gonna send the arms up to the sky. And then as we exhale, hi Guinevere, we're gonna reach those fingertips up and forward. So here we want our back to remain nice and straight, lengthen the back. So here we're going to turn the heart, turn like if there's a light coming out from the center of the heart forward. We're gonna send that laser light from forward to over to the right. And you're welcome to send the heart forward as long as you can keep the back straight as if you are up here. And then send the heart back to center. Deep inhale and then exhale over to the left. Another way to see this, bring your heart back to center, is to press those sit bones back while you reach your fingertips up and forward, maybe forward. Inhaling back to center, exhaling to one side, inhaling to center, exhaling to the other side. All right, here's where we really want to start to get into our own bodies, kind of going within here. We're gonna draw up the right sole of the foot, place it on the inner thigh, the left leg. Inhaling the arms up, and then exhaling, reaching forward. Maybe grabbing the foot, maybe grabbing the leg, maybe grabbing a strap and using that so you can keep the back nice and straight. On your next exhale, we're gonna walk the hands back up, draw that right knee up, cross the right foot over the left knee, hug the knee into the chest. Take your right hand, place it behind the body. With a nice tall spine, begin to turn toward the right. You can keep your left arm hugged around the right knee. Or you can inhale the left arm up, twist gently, and exhale, maybe hooking that left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Good. The toes on that extended foot are pointed up here. Really tune into the body here. Pay attention what's happening within. Breathe nice and deep. And exhale, relax. And release back to front. We're going to, if this is comfortable for you, placing your right knee on top of the left leg. If that's not comfortable, you're welcome to keep it kind of like at a number 4 here, or you can come back to this where we have the foot on the inner thigh. Modifications. Deep inhale here, arms lift, and then exhale, forward fold. You might go less forward than before because this is a little bit of a challenging stretch here. You're welcome to use your strap. Take 3 deep breaths here. And walking the hands back. Good, nice job. Extending the right leg out, drawing the left sole of the foot, placing it on the right inner thigh. Inhale the arms up to the sky and exhale, reach forward. Spine is straight here. Shoulders are relaxed. And you're welcome to bring the hands down if they kind of get tired. Take your intention, to your back and just really try to take some deep breaths and notice what's going on in the body. Draw those toes toward the face. If you like, you can begin to round forward and breathe. Walking the hands back, drawing that left leg up, and then placing the sole of that left foot over the right foot. You'll feel both sits bones pressing into the floor. Heart is lifting up nice and tall. Remember, if you're not able to sit up nice and tall, you can have some sort of like support, extra support, like pillows, folded up blankets, blocks underneath your sits bones. Placing that right hand behind the body, inhaling the left arm up and maybe twisting the heart toward the left and maybe placing that elbow on the outside of the foot here. Nice tall spine. How y'all doing? Good. I hear Guinevere. Yeah, and as I think about it, as we do our yoga poses, yeah, they're kind of isometric where we're kind of staying still, but at the same time, we have a little bit of pulsation as we inhale and exhale. So deep inhale maybe brings your body out of the twist, and then as you exhale, you let your body relax, and maybe you move into the twist a little bit more, maybe not. Just listening to the body here. When you're ready, bringing the heart back to forward. And then we're going to draw that foot back toward the right hip, stacking the left knee on top of the right, taking your modification that you need. So it doesn't have to be like this. You can have your foot here, here, whatever's best for you. Using your strap here, perhaps. Bringing the heart forward. Beginning to walk the hands back up toward the body. Uncrossing the left leg. Bringing the soles of the feet together. Arching the back here. Nice arch in the back as we open the heart up. And exhale. Round the spine forward. Slowly. Not really trying to just force this pose. Taking those feet out as far or as close in as is best for your hips. Nothing in our yoga practice should be painful or hurt. Should not hurt. It should just feel like, it can feel like an intense stretch, but not painful. And coming out of this pose, yeah. Just like at the beginning of class, we're going to kind of roll back on the hips. You're welcome to, if you have a foam roller or tennis ball or some sort of myofascial release tool that you'd like to use here, you're welcome to. I'm going to just continue to demonstrate just how we can use the floor to really get into this kind of rolling out the muscles of the hips, the glutes. Quiz. How many glute muscles do we have? Like, and what are they called? I'm just kidding. You don't have to tell me unless you just want to. Yoga is not for quizzes. But if you just want to show off your knowledge, you go right on ahead. Hey, Benjamin. Hey, Benjamin. All right. Deep breath and release that. Good. All right. If you would like, we're going to kind of loosened up our hips. We can go Mukasana, cow head pose. So stacking one knee on top of the other here. If you want to do this pose, if I could turn to the side, you can see. They're stacked. If this isn't quite comfortable, you're welcome to come into an easy, just a regular seated pose. Remember, if you feel that like a burning or just like a bone stopping bone, then no worries. So yeah, if this isn't, well, just come to an easy seated, or you can come back to cobblers if you want, cobbler's pose. Just whatever's best for you here. Whatever leg is on top, we're going to take the opposite hand up overhead and start to pat yourself on the back. Yeah. And you're going to reach around and then place the fingernail polish side of your hand on your back. Maybe the fingers touch, maybe they don't. If you would like to have that hand-to-hand connection, you can use a strap to feel as if the hands have a connection there. Yeah, cow face pose, cow head pose, called different things, Go Mukasana. Hey, thank you for following Hidden Man XX31. Thank you so much. Yeah, if your head starts to like lean forward, see if you can just have the head looking forward, just normal, you know, not kind of pushed forward, but just upright. And then releasing the hands down. Another option for this would be just to have your hands kind of like interlaced, hands to elbows behind the body. That would help with the stretch here. And then another option would be to have your hand, if you wanted to work on the top part, just reach your hand up where you feel comfortable and then use your elbow to kind of hold it in place, not pulling it, don't like force it. But I really love the strap, using the strap here to get that connection here, you can see. So even if the hands are way, way far apart, for me, this is the best modification with a strap. And you can use a belt, a tie, whatever you've got available that's not super stretchy. Then we'll release to the other side. Yeah. can shake that out if that was like super like petrified, like Petra Choli had shared. That's other side. So whatever leg is on top, we're going to take that opposite hand up. Pat yourself on the back, you're doing a good job. And then sweep the opposite hand behind. Fingernail polish side is against the body. Open the heart, open. Use the strap, use your props. If you just want to, even sitting in like hero's pose here is fine. I love hero's pose, it sounds so noble. Hero's pose. Hero's pose is where the knees are kind of like child's pose, how the knees are there, but then you're sitting up. So like go to your child's pose and then sit up, and you may need some sort of support under the hips. That's another option for this goal Mukasana. Relax shoulders. So if you feel like in your traps, like starting to get, starting to tense up, just breathe, release down. Yay, stretch that out. Maybe bring one arm across and the other. So hero's pose, let's do that. Hero's pose. So if I were to demo here, so the hips would be sitting on the floor. That's full. It's really hard on the knees to do that. So best to have some sort of support under the hips coming up. Yeah. So that's a lot better. Makes it more accessible. You can even have a really tall, you know, there's no limit on the amount of support that you want to take here. Look, I'm going to even use another block here. Just really stack it up nice and tall till I'm the headless yoga teacher. Okay, so you do you. We're not here to get into the perfect yoga pose. It's not about being the best. It's about doing your yoga and getting to that place that's right in the middle for you. Not too easy, not too hard. When I say that, every time I say that, because I've said that several times, I think of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Hey, sweet girl. So hero's pose. And if you'd like to stay here, you can, or you can bring the heart forward, maybe the hands back. So it would be very, very similar to child's pose. As you come down, pay attention to the hips. If they feel like they're starting to feel pain, you can take the knees out wider and come down. Now, if you're up on a whole bunch of supports, then coming down, you may need extra support for under the head, because if your hips are way high up, you wouldn't want to like do a super forward fold forward. So just go to your expression of this pose. And then bring the heart up, and I'm going to take it to the side. And you are welcome to try this. You do not have to do this. I don't recommend this for beginners. But you are welcome to walk the hands back and come into reclined hero's pose. It's a very intense stretch on the quads, on the front of the legs here, on the knees. So be careful. Only go down as far as you feel comfortable going. breathing. Paying attention to the body. And then when you're ready to come out of this, you'll start to tuck your elbows underneath. Tuck the chin in, squeeze like you have an apple orange under the chin, and then come up. And if you were able to get here, that's fine. You did not have to bring your heart all the way down to the floor or your torso all the way down to the floor. Yeah, so this is your practice. That was where I was at today, and I was like, oh wow, I was actually able to go down. I'm surprised. So for me, that was different. Coming to a seated pose, maybe crossing the legs, sending the hips back. Beginning to roll down, grabbing a block. Placing your heels under the knees. Deep inhale. As you exhale, we're going to begin to engage in some pelvic tilts, lengthening the back, the low back, like where the waistband is. Let that come down to the floor, the tailbones pointing up toward the knees. As you inhale, roll the pelvis, pointing the tailbone down toward the floor, having an easy arch in the back here. Good. And then we're going to move into bridge pose. Benjamin, hey buddy, you have an itch. Exhale, tuck the tailbone up, pointing it up toward the knees. Begin to lift the sacrum and hips away from the floor. And then you're going to place your hands on the floor, have that block nearby. Pressing the hips up. So maybe your bridge is closer to the floor, maybe the hips are closer to the floor. Beginning to feel a stretch in the front body. So the rectus abdominis, the center part, the six pack of the body being stretched here, pulling those knees away from the body toward the wall. Good job. And then before you lower, we're going to actually place the block on its lowest setting on the floor beneath the back of the hip bones and underneath the sacrum, the base of the spine. So it should feel completely supported there. As you exhale, feel like the space right below the navel, between the navel and the pubic bone, let that feel really heavy and sink down into the floor. Oh, yeah. If you want, you can walk your feet out to the outer edges of the mat and then let your knees float inward, maybe leaning on one another. And as you're here, if you have an empty stomach, you can try this. If you have eaten and have food in your stomach, don't try this. It won't be very pleasant. Exhale all the way. Keep this squeezed out, keep the air squeezed out, keep the abdomen squeezed tight, and then hollow out the belly and breathe in, engaging the thoracic breathing, not expanding the abdomen, but expanding the ribs only. And then release. Good. Deep breath here, exhale out. All the way. Breathe in. You You can stay here for your final pose for your your Shavasana, the pose of rest. Arms go out to your side like a T if you want, or you can take the block out from under. So do whichever feels best for you. We can move into our Shavasana or stay here, just whichever one you want to do. Taking your awareness to the space between your eyebrows and imagining an amber glow right there. If you're in bridge pose, go ahead and heel toe the feet back to hip width distance. Take a deep breath. And then exhale, press the soles of your feet into the floor. Lift your hips up just enough to remove the block out from underneath the hips. And then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, lower the body down. Extend the legs long over a bolster or a pillow if you like, or without one. Just extending straight out. Very good. Coming into our full Shavasana. Letting the shoulder blades tuck under the body. Arms going out to about a 45-degree angle with palms facing up. Taking your awareness back to between the eyebrows and imagining that amber glow. Like a golden flame. If you would like to come back out of Shavasana, beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Otherwise, if you want to stay in, feel free. Just tune me out and continue on into a deep rest. If you're ready, you can begin to stretch the arms and legs. Rolling over to one side, and when you're ready, pressing up into seated. Yeah, definitely. Bet you thought I fell asleep. We're going to take our right hand. This is my right hand. I invite you to place your right thumb on your right nostril. Inhale in through the left nostril. Switch to the ring finger. Exhale out. Inhale in. Switch back to the thumb. Exhale out the left nostril. You can take your index finger and your pointer finger, which are the same thing. Index finger and the thumb together. Inhale in through the left nostril. Switch to the ring finger and exhale out. Inhale in. Exhale out slowly. Inhale in forcefully. Switch and exhale out. Inhale in. Switch and exhale out slowly. Thank you for the follow, Thacker Lindy. Inhale in forcefully, switch and exhale out slowly. Inhale in. And switch and exhale out through the left nostril. Inhale in. Place the ring finger on the left nostril, exhale out the right nostril. Relaxed and slow. Inhale in. Switch and exhale. Inhale. Switch and exhale. Inhale. One. Switch and exhale. Inhale. Switch and exhale. Inhale. Switch and exhale. Inhale. Switch and exhale. Inhale. And switch and exhale. Good. Release the hand down. Alternate nostril breathing. Bringing hands to heart center and exhaling out. Deep inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Thank you so much. The divine light and grace that is in me recognizes and is so thankful for the divine light and grace that is in you. Namaste.